Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, please begin search for Facebook user who posted money ritual video that propelled teenagers to behead girl. APC broker peace between Governor Ganduje and Senator Shekarau draft power sharing templates. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Emeka Madunagu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Okay, thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with a delicate matter. There's rising tension among residents as fuel scarcity resurfaced in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. Some marketers blame the current scarcity on the supply of wrong specification of petrol and subsequent directive for the withdrawal from the market after the distribution to many filling stations, which created a supply shortfall and panic buying. More worrisome is the fact that some petroleum marketers stressed that the scarcity will persist in Lagos and other parts of the country until depots are restocked with adequate and quality products. Bajide, this happened some years back. I just remembered, I don't know, I can't. Yes. Even in 2008. And they brought the thing, and the thing, when dispensing, it will be smelling this kind of odd odor, smell, and it could even destroy the engine. So what we have in circulation now is, is not the specification that they are meant to bring. So I was told that they have over 100 million liters. Yes, this product.
Yeah, 100 million.
If it's anything to go by, so that means
anyway, you are dealing with NNPC, so
we don't even know how much we consume per day.
Now, even the Minister of State for Petroleum Products has also said he does not believe the figures being bandied about as our daily consumption
by NNPC.
Yes. The number 3 man, the Senate president, came out the other day to say the same thing.
Yeah.
We had been saying it
That's
here.
A damning verdict.
It's a good thing that we had been saying it here. It's a good thing that the people in government are themselves now talking like some of us.
The minister that is meant to be supervising NNPC.
Yes, he said, look, that even the figure is opaque, this and that, So, just as the Senate President said, one day we'll sit down here and we'll be told it's 200 million liters per day.
So as that figure is opaque, that means any figure they bring for subsidy payments
may not be
That's accurate. What we are going to live with.
May not be accurate. May not be accurate. So there's a subsidy bill now that they've submitted for 3 trillion, have you? Okay. We don't know, the price of the product fluctuates.
Yes.
In the global market. But we have already come up with a 3 trillion bill.
Sharp.
Based on what? Based on what facts on ground. Let's even leave that. Right now, people are facing scarcity in Lagos. Many of the filling stations refuse to open. Or maybe they don't have the product.
No,
because if you are withdrawing the product, the ones that you have not dispensed, that you have not supplied the marketers, you are not going to supply them. You are not going to supply them. The ones already supplied, you are telling them to withdraw and not sell to people. So why won't we have these supply hiccups? Somebody took the decision to import this unwholesome quality of petrol. What are we going to do about that?
By now, the person should tell
why
his resignation.
Is the person's head not already rolling? What are we going to do? You and I know the answers. We don't let heads roll in our country. We don't promise crime. We don't punish crime. We don't punish iniquity. So that is why crime is walking on 2 legs in our country, because we simply don't punish crime.
Because the ripple effect is that for those who have purchased this stock, sensitive engines, you just start, your engine must start malfunctioning.
And no compensation.
Yes. Even for those who have paid, are they going to be compensated?
No.
Yeah, but those who have bought the product.
No compensation, because I remember something like that affected me in 2008. And the vehicle and the engine of my vehicle knocked. Nobody compensated me. Nothing. I had to go and fix my engine myself. So these are the kinds of things that people, see and talk about. Lack of coordination in governance in Nigeria. How could some people just bring in fuel with heavy sulfur content, and then you have different agencies? DPR, didn't DPR check the fuel? Didn't other agencies check the fuel? And you have so many agencies at the ports, which many people have said they're just doing nothing. They're just there, even contributing to the congestion at the ports.
They are there for extortion.
Now, till date, no refinery is working in Nigeria, and nobody is telling us why. So we depend on fuel importation, and this is at the time when it's only NNPC that's importing fuel. So imagine if there was a cross section, or major marketers and independent marketers were just importing fuel. You can imagine the disaster we'll be talking about. And don't forget, in the past few weeks, there has been talk about adulterated kerosene in circulation. There have been explosions in Anambra State. People have been killed.
Explosion?
Yes. Explosion. Adulterated kerosene in Anambra State. But NNPC has heard about this. DPR has heard about this. They did nothing. Now, because fuel is a commodity, petrol is a commodity bought by everybody, the high and the low. So it's not easy for you to just pretend, that these things, the complaints are isolated cases. Then you're not coming out to say, okay, withdraw it. In withdrawing it, one, the filling stations will not do business, they will lose money. Secondly, people who have bought this fuel will suffer damage to their engines and maybe their generators and other things they use to power fuel. Who is going to pay for all that? And it's sad. We keep having the same problem. And don't forget, there was a report the other time that talked about Nigeria consistently importing dirty fuel from Europe. Putting the lives of citizens at risk. What is the job? What is the role of the DPR? I don't know.
At least there ought to be quality control people. There ought to be those structures in place to ensure that we are not just wide open to receive all manner of unwholesome products. In our country, it's bad enough that we cannot refine crude oil in our country. It's bad enough. Look at all what we could have gained. We could have, if we have refineries that are functioning, we will be able to refine diesel.
All the byproducts.
All those byproducts, including what is it called? Engine oil and the rest of them, So
bitumen.
We are losing so much money. And to make matters worse, you now read that we spent 100 billion naira in 1 year to fix refineries that are not producing a drop of petrol. Why are we spending money on them if they cannot give us what we want? Why are we keeping people drawing salary in billions every month when they cannot they can't deliver?
Another country.
Spare
parts.
I just don't understand.
That even the people that there are some of them that the people that actually installed they are not manufacturing this kind of things again.
No, it won't. But it can work because there are refineries in America that had been there since the 19th century, and they are not dead.
They are not dead. Yes.
It's about how we maintain them over the years. When turnaround will be due, we will not do it. So we were killing those refineries.
We were doing audio turnaround because they were telling us about the money budgeted for every year.
But if we don't do
I grew up to know what they call the turnaround maintenance.
If you don't do it when you are supposed to do it, you know you are weakening the equipment. So there were years when we just ignored any form of turnaround, and then later turnaround maintenance became an avenue to simply steal money. Successive government was stealing money through turnaround. Sometimes they are doing turnaround. I remember in Kaduna, I was in Kaduna then, they were doing turnaround. Suddenly the refinery caught fire in the middle of a turnaround. You know, a fuel catalytic unit caught fire.
CCU.
Yes. So this petrol is now becoming like a cost to us. It's supposed to be a massive blessing, but it's becoming like a cost.
All right. So we are bracing up for yet another, hardship in Lagos, and well, the Federal High Court sitting in Gusau, Zamfara State, has struck out the suit challenging the defection of Governor Bello Matawalle and 4 others from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressive Congress, APC. Delivering his ruling, Justice Aminu Bapa Aliyu said the court lacks jurisdiction to entertain the matter. Jide, tell us more.
Well, once you come up with a case against the APC and you list May Malabune as one of the respondents, judges will simply come up with this kind of verdict. Because he has immunity as a governor, and you simply can't bring this kind of matters up against him. You can't take him to court, you know. So
okay, if he wasn't the governor of Yobe State now, it were to be a neutral person, they can join him in that case.
And you can't do a case involving the APC.
Okay.
Without
joining. Okay.
Because he's the decision maker.
The immunity confided on the
is one reason. This is not the first case that a judge would decline the decision. I think about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, something like that happened. It just simply, what case was that? I think in the South or somewhere, you know, where someone wanted, challenged the interim ESCO of the party. The moment the judge looked at it and he said, he just declined jurisdiction. So this one, we don't have all the facts. Maybe by tomorrow there will be more facts, but immediately I saw that this was what the judge did. I knew it stems from the issue of whether, as things stand now, you can sue May Malabune.
The Constitution went as far as talking about lawmakers, if they defect from their party, that they, that there will be punitive method. But it never mentioned the executive. It never mentioned the Constitution never mentioned the executive. That's the governor, the deputy governor, president, and the vice president.
Yeah, if you can cast our minds back to 2015, around, was it April or so, when the Supreme Court ruled on the case of Ifedayo Abegunde, Akure North South, defected from Labour Party to APC. And the Supreme Court said, that he couldn't prove, he claimed that the party was factionalized at the state level, but said he couldn't prove that factionalization affected the running of the party at the national level. So to that effect, his case was thrown out at the Federal High Court. That was in May. That was on May 12 or 11, 2012. He went to the appeal court. His case, it ruled against him. He went to the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice of Nigeria at that time, Justice Mahmoud Mohammed, who led the panel that handled the matter, said he couldn't prove anything, even went as far back to the Second Republic, to say that he couldn't prove factionalization, that the constitution is clear about factionalization. So I think beyond the issue of May Malabuni being the chairman, APC is an entity on its own which can be sued. So I think the plaintiffs will move up to the appeal court and then to the Supreme Court so that, you know, this matter can be cleared. But I know, being very clear, because there's also the case against Umahi of Ebonyi State coming up on March 8th, you know. So I believe that, you know, they'll quickly find a solution to it, because you cannot just, you know, decline jurisdiction when there is a decided case on this very issue of defection. I think something needs to be sorted
just
out.
as he said, the law was particular about lawmakers, not governors. It's there. You go back and check. It's the lawmakers, maybe because of what happened during the First Republic. You know, because the defection in our National Assembly at that time was what eventually plunged the nation into crisis. Maybe that was what they were trying to avoid. But it does not say, for example, that governors cannot defect. You understand? It's those lawmakers. And it even says that, look, that they must refund even all of what the salaries that they have collected. You know, I think that when people say that the Constitution itself as a body of laws governing our affairs need to be looked at again, I agree. There are so many lacunas in that Constitution. So maybe when they are reviewing the Constitution, this sort of issue can be addressed.
All right. There has been rising cases of killing across Nigeria for ritual. But the murder of Sophia Kendi in Abeokuta, Ogun State, after her boyfriend and his gang attracted national outrage and condemnation. The State Police Command says its operatives are working to hunt and arrest the social media user who posted a get-rich-quick video on Facebook from where the 4 teenagers learned money ritual. According to the spokesman, the police will ensure that all those directly or indirectly involved in the killing of the 20-year-old Sophiat are apprehended. This is very, very unfortunate and sad when you look at the growing trend.
It was surprising. I mean, 27 members. That group, that page has 27,000 members.
27,000 members.
27,000 members.
How to make money ritual.
27,000 members.
No, people join them now.
So yes, I was now wondering, are these
in churches, are these mosques,
are these boats or what? No, you see, I think NGOs need to also, and highly placed Nigerians need to step up pressure on Facebook, because there's something not exactly money ritual close to it. Facebook was, recently talking about setting up an, form of Instagram for younger people, but I think bishops in Europe said no. So Facebook, you cannot do that. You can't try to expose young people, impressionable teenagers, to the dangers of social media. I mean, putting the right in their hands, whereas you are supposed to do the opposite. So I think really government and non-governmental organizations should step up, because the excuse is that Facebook doesn't understand, what this group stands for. But I think if there's pressure on them, look at it, 27,000. I mean, look at it.
So
26,000 members.
Yes, members. So if there is sustained pressure on Facebook, I mean, from government and non-governmental organizations, I think this thing, that page should be taken out, and similar pages, because there is this tendency for people to multiply such criminal activities, go about opening pages and all that. But we must deal with this issue. I was even reading a report that 4 girls were caught in a school, with a human head. So, I mean, what are they doing with all of these things? People who girls.
Yes.
Yes.
This thing, is young boys, Yahoo boys who have been killing their girlfriends for money-making ritual. When girls go deeply into this thing, many Nigerian men will be unsafe. Because yes, because people who have wives at home, some have multiple wives, they are not contented. Anything in skirts, they are going for it. They must not see a beautiful woman by the roadside. They are driving, they almost hit the car in front of them, looking at those girls. By the time, if we don't address this problem, and by the time girls now warm up to the idea of killing men for rituals, given how permissive we are as a people. I know there are some hypocrites who will be looking at me now and be saying, look at him, you know. The way we present ourselves to our wives is not usually the truth. Many of us will go missing. If young women start killing, because this story that you just told us now, in fact, I'm startled by it. Many of us will go missing if women take to this thing. Because Nigerian men, people travel, they can't do 2-3 days sleeping alone. They can't even afford to miss their wives for some time. They must look for a young girl to carry. So if the young girl there is somebody involved in money making ritual, then your life is in danger. That's the thing. That's what the Yoruba
guys are doing now.
Yes,
so
they too can start it. If they start it, we're in trouble. Look at this fellow on Facebook. Look at what he's writing. And I think the decision to simply write in Yoruba was meant to deceive Facebook, so that they will not. He said that I am a spiritual man who helps people in many ways out of their problems. Like he started with money ritual, and then put 2 instant money. He now tipexed that area and said business problem, bad dreams, love spell. He now added I can't mention all, so you can call me on this number. He put the number there, WhatsApp. He now put no human blood involved. But these are closed groups. You will not know what they are discussing there. If they upload a video, it is not public video. This boy, now one of these boys, said he saw the video, he downloaded the video on Facebook. So the recipe that they used, it was on Facebook that they got it. And before you know it, they spent about 2,500 or so on those ingredients. And then they began to burn the head of the girl.
Look at them.
Yes.
These are just...
Two of them are 18 years. One is 19, another one is 20.
What did you
at that
want to do
age,
with this kind of money?
At that age, 18-year-old boy.
But you see them hanging all over. You see them all over the city now. Teenagers all over the place.
We are in trouble.
I mean, you go out. I mean, when you move around town, and maybe you go into a restaurant, you know, you see them coming in a group, and what they order, you'll be wondering. After working, after having worked for how many decades?
Somebody posted yesterday that it was his birthday this weekend, that he spent 8 million naira.
8.5 million naira.
8.5 million naira buying drinks.
So those are the things. Those are the kinds of things. Those are the kinds of things. 8.5 million naira that need to be.
Social media is also not helping.
That's what. Yes, that is what is influencing them when they see the lifestyle.
Social media, the lifestyle of people, those who flaunt money recklessly.
Yes, you know? But some of these things are fake. Some of these things are fake.
But these boys will not know.
But it's influencing these
boys will not know.
They don't know.
They want to work with the big boys.
Yes. Look at Pastor Ibrahim swearing at the Yahoo boys. Do you know that those boys, and one of them, I looked at him, I don't think he's even up to my firstborn. My firstborn is going to be 19 this month. He's not up to, he can't be older than my firstborn. And they were poking fun at the pastor. That look, forget. All your swearing will not catch us. That we are ready, we will do, we'll continue to do our thing. They are swearing at us, we are wasting your time. I said,
all right. Okay, let me quickly go for this break. When we come back, We'll talk more. It's still Journalistic Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Thank you for staying with us. I still have Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Emeka Madunagu in the studio, and we are looking at this get-rich syndrome, and has increased the number of ritual killings. Before, it used to be something that you live for, people that are extremely fetish, or people. Do you understand? It's not something that is that common. But right now, you see boys from good homes.
And these boys were, in fact, they met in Quranic school. And one of them, the father actually runs the Quranic school. So sometimes you can try your best to bring up a child. When he gets influenced by a bad company, he goes to do the opposite of what you are taught him. And people will say, oh, this one has no home training. No, he got home training, but he refused to typify it. It's just shameful.
You know that was beheaded?
I don't know whether she.
Oh, damn.
And this, and they borrowed the clay pots. So they borrowed the clay pots. Just put God.
What will make these young guys, look at them, what kind of bestiality? Look at the knife, look at the cutlass.
You read the way they killed it there. The one was told to sit on the abdomen while he was using the knife to cut. What a painful way to kill someone.
And you know if you want to just kill a cow.
The guy wanted to escape, but he pushed her down. That's the boyfriend, Mustakim. And two of them had slept with her. Mustakim passed her on to Solu. So Solu too was sleeping with her. They don't say, look, she's a useless girl. Let's use her for the money-making ritual.
I think this is a function of failed parenting. It was never like this before. And early now you see 16, 17-year-old girls,
yes,
having boyfriends and even coming out to flaunt it. It was never like that before. And even these young guys.
Yeah, somebody even said today, even though it was like a joke, that the children that should actually be, groomed, have even become parents themselves. So the parents are absent, while children they should take care of, they should bring up, have become parents themselves. So
literally society, doing everything by themselves.
Doing everything. I mean, you see girls who go out on prostitution to feed their families. And their parents welcome them. They come into the house with phones, with all kinds of things. They go to the university, they are not reading, they are sorting lecturers and doing all kinds of things, and the parents watch on. And they bring in the money, the parents encourage them. Was there not a story of a mother who told the first son to use the younger brother for money ritual? You see, the unfortunate thing is that this is one of the side effects of population explosion. When you have so many people and the resources are not enough to go around to channel people into productive ventures. So you see the economy has been in a bad shape. Then a lot of factories close down. So a lot of youths are left to their own devices, and then people government is just now talking about controlling the population.
What is this now? Ogunwo ati.
Yes, also Todaju.
Oshole Todaju. Oshole Todaju. Ogunwo ati Oshole Todaju. So Mark Zuckerberg now will not understand this.
We don't understand now. Yeah,
they also take down the page.
They're meant to take down this page.
That's why some people, when they want to abuse you on Facebook, in order not to be restricted, they will
26K members.
They will
you should know the number. How desperate.
It's not even a closed group. It's an open group. But the point is this. You see, it's also part of what people have been telling Mark Zuckerberg about the algorithms of Facebook, that he has to do something about these algorithms so that they operate in such a way that if you detect, because sometimes when people file reports with Facebook, nothing is done. The same thing happens on Twitter. Nothing is done. They tell you that it has not violated their community standards. So people now, become more notorious in the way they abuse social media. Yes. So these organizations, need to do something.
How about those people who are doing the movies, who are doing skits? There's one guy, every time I see his skit, it is about using juju to take a woman to bed. And I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with this guy?
Yesterday,
if you check every skit, you cannot do any skit.
If you check
the viewers
of that skit, there are millions of.
Yes, but
so, of course,
don't dry skits. You see 1 million.
No skits that people are watching now. We live. This generation has no patience at all.
At all.
No patience to read. They don't read. So, how would they have patience to watch something that is long? Even if the movie is very impactful, as long as it takes time, they have no time. It's this gadget is what they are obsessed with. Now, as if there was no life before phones came in. So those kids, they are short. You even see some movie stars now. They too are going into skit making. Because they earn money and you don't spend so much time. And it's so easy to generate it. You look at so many skits that Mr. Macaroni has come up with. If he was into making movies, there's no way you can go generate all of that. So those kids, they make money from it. But there's no sense in somebody simply doing skits that show that you can use juju to sleep with a woman. This funny guy on Facebook, he put it there, he put love portion or something. So people watching such skits, they can be influenced. Especially these young people, 17, 16-year-olds, they can be influenced. It's possible to use juju to take a woman to bed. So if someone told him, come and take juju to take the woman that you like to bed, he will believe. This is what we are seeing. That you can simply download a video on Facebook and then go ahead to kill someone because you think that it is actually true that you use someone's head to become a millionaire. I even said that the boy stupidly the boy said, and I want to be rich early in life.
No, but one of my friends said, you arrive early, you depart early. You see, the unfortunate thing with many of them is that, it's because parental control has broken down. I remember, let me just
say, they don't even listen to their parents.
I remember in the late 80s, when I was in Benin then, it was fashionable for youth, to run away abroad. Some even stole their parents' money, even sold their parents' houses.
Yes.
I wanted to join in that exodus, but my parents told me, relax, stay under your parents, go to university, stay under your parents, there's time for everything. And that's what I did join. But many people I know, many youths ran away, did all kinds of things. So what are we talking about? Parents must be decisive.
They all want to go abroad
even if you're going
some parents will say, look at what Lagwaja has done for his parents. He has built a new house for his parents. He has bought cars for them. Those are the things that push these boys to want to be like the others.
Okay. And finally, Kano State, the commercial capital of northern Nigeria, is a key state for the ruling All Progressive Congress APC in terms of electoral value. Hence, the need to guide against any crisis that will whittle down its influence in the states. The leadership of APC has unveiled the template for sharing party positions between factions by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje and Senator representing Kano Central, that's Senator Ibrahim Shekarau. The meeting was organized by the APC Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee, led by its chairman, me. Mala Buni. Anytime we are talking about Buni, the way Buni's quest to sign new players, he's not still looking as if
he has tremendous talent through that, bringing in big shots into the party, but he finds it difficult to resolve outstanding issues.
crisis.
And this story, when I saw this story, I was happy. I said, well, they are getting somewhere.
That they will power sharing formula.
Yes, so there's no such thing. No such thing has taken place. There's no such thing as presented in this story that has taken place. In fact, the Shekarau faction they've now issued a statement to say everything you contain in your letter, we disagree. So, what has been resolved? The issues remain. That's what it means. You know what the party did? May Malabune and co didn't want to, on their own, prescribe a kind of sharing formula. And you know, everywhere else, apart from Kano, there is nowhere you have a sitting governor that the leadership has not pandered to the sitting governor. Where we've not had that was Kano. Kano and Sokoto were the two states whose ESCOs were not inaugurated. They cited litigation in both cases. But Shekarau's group went to court and on 3 occasions defeated the Ganduje group in court. So this gives them what do we call, not just bragging right, this puts them in a position of strength to say, look, we are negotiating. We have to negotiate from a position of strength. We have to negotiate in a manner that favors us because we are the ones who have the court judgments.
So the party structure now, the authentic structure now.
This is with the Shekarau people right now. Now, what the party wants to see is sharing between both groups. Because there is nothing dangerous as to have a sitting governor who has lost the control of the party in the state. That's not a palatable situation. Now, what the Shekaraus, what they want is, okay, let's do 60-40 or at worst 50-50. You and I know that Ganduje will not agree to this. As the governor, you know he will not agree to this.
Down his power to take 50-50 with you.
Because they are thinking, since they
somebody
have
that has
the
been
court,
in charge of the structure for 8 years.
For the one in court on 3 occasions. So since they have the court judgments, they are now thinking that yes, that puts them at an advantage. No doubt about it. That's an advantage. Because the court has said, they validated your own, the leadership of the party as represented by your own chairman. Shekarau's chairman is the one recognized by those 3 courts. 3 different times the courts validated. So they want 60 to 40 or maximum 50-50. Now what the party did was to say, okay, right now go and come up with your own position paper on how we can share this.
Shekarau is a service senator.
Yes. Now what the party said was, okay, come up, each of the groups, come up with your position on how we can solve this problem. You would have expected that the main Malabuni leadership would then look at both and prescribe to them.
Yes.
Give them a template.
This is what we feel.
Yes. Share
this
this thing in this way. That didn't happen. They didn't prescribe anything. They didn't direct them as to how to share. What they simply said was, okay, you, Shekarau, sit with the governor and do your harmonization. At the local government level, if you have if a senator is the most senior person from that local government, you would go, the senator should call both groups and then share the positions available at that local government level between the two factions. So they have pushed the responsibility to the actors that are yet to forgive themselves. How do you achieve that? You then say, that if he's the member of the House of Assembly that is the most senior in that local government, he will be the leader and he will be the one to preside over the sharing of those positions. So they considered in that letter that the governor is the leader of the party, which is by APC tradition. That's the way it's always been. Once someone becomes governor, he becomes the leader of the party. And that is the same problem that they have in Zamfara, because people like Yari are saying, we did not agree to the idea of dissolving our ESCO. We allow Matale to join us. But why are you dissolving the ESCO? Now the party has not just dissolved the ESCO, the structures have been given to the governor, Matale himself. So it rumbles on, the crisis rumbles on in Kano, except we want to come here and just deceive ourselves. They issued a statement. I have the statement that they issued, and they are saying they don't agree with what the party has done. They simply expected the party to prescribe, to split those positions between them and say, look, you take this, it may be the best thing for them, because these ones can't come together by themselves and do this.
If you remember the 2015 election, once they just mentioned Kano's votes, it just subsumed everything.
Yes.
And President Buhari had a kind of head start with that 1.9 million votes he had from
They were
Kano.
chasing it until the end of the election.
Do you understand? So, if they are toying with Kano now, that might be counterproductive, because for any state, because the quantum of votes, the turnout to Kano, like Lagos State had over 7 million registered voters, but how many people came out to vote? But Kano,
that's the problem.
Rest assured,
that's the problem. So it's even interesting that, of course, President Muhammadu Buhari is not running again. He's going.
He's on the ballot.
So, so many people running to succeed him, and then, of course, Ganduje has been mentioned somehow or the other in this 2023 presidential race, So how will he be able to put his foot forward?
Wiggle out of this crisis.
When at home, he is nowhere. When at home, he's not even on
That's why some people believe that this might be a contrived
is having
crisis.
The crisis in APC is almost in all the states. So if a state like Kano is in such a mess, don't forget you have Kwankwaso and some other people just hanging around, watching to see how they can benefit from the crisis. Do we move in after they've finished themselves? Do we move into APC and gather the spoils, or do we stay in PDP and help them to break the legs of the chairs on which they are sitting? So it's not looking good for APC in Kano. Even for Ganduje, it's not looking good for him at all, because
I've lost 3 court cases.
It's going to be a mess. In the next few months, the party primaries will start. Taking place.
No time now.
Primaries will start. I think by May. I think House of Assembly primaries will be in May. So, if they cannot sort it out now, it will be difficult for his loyalists to get party tickets to House of Assembly and the rest of them, and himself maybe hoping to get into the presidential race or go to the Senate might be a pipe dream.
Ganduje is not just a small fry. He has gone through a lot of battles, and I know that, look, that this is just one of the things that will test his political sagacity.
No, it's been there for so long. I know that he always finds a way to survive, and this has really distracted him. There are many things that we used to see him do. You can see that in the last few months, the governor has been almost a recluse. You know, just literally
taking over the structure of the
keeping
sitting
to
governor.
himself. But that's what we've seen. That's what we've seen. And the truth is, let's tell ourselves the truth. If you see the content of they are saying that because in some local governments, a commissioner may be the highest ranked APC member there. The party said in such a situation that it is the highest ranked person that should share the position. So they are already thinking that the commissioners, of course, they are with the governor, that this thing will not favor them. That's why they have written that they completely disagree with this. They said, in these circumstances, therefore, we are constrained to notify you, sir, that the entirety of the content of your letter is totally unacceptable to us. This is strongly worded. Yes, look at it.
Write it back.
Yours faithfully, Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, Kano Central, Senator Barau Jibrin, Kano North, Honorable Tijani Abdul Kadri Jobe, as House of Reps member Darkin Tofa, Rimengado, and Tofa Federal Constituency. So they think that the tone of this letter suggests that they think that the party is trying to favor the governor, and they are saying they are not prepared to surrender the structures to the governor. It's a strange state of affairs in Kano, but in my view, this reconciliation meeting has to continue because they've achieved nothing so far. The directive of the party, clearly the Shekarau people are not prepared to accept the directive of the party, except the party puts is foot down now and say, look, this is our decision.
And don't also forget,
I didn't also expect that within those few days that this thing will be resolved quickly. I know that some of these things are difficult to resolve. Politicians will smile at one another, but they don't forgive one another.
Shekarau is also a former governor of the state.
Yes.
He's a grassroots politician. The man is very popular. Look at what happened in Gombe State in 2015. How, the chieftains of the PDP ignored the governor, pushed him to the side, and APC took over the state. Across governorship, Senate, House, or every APC had a complete.
He even lost his own election.
And the governor was warning them that these things you people are doing, the person you are choosing to run for governor, he cannot deliver the state. But they just swept. I don't know how they managed to do that, but sometimes sometimes
a kind of revival across.
And if APC loses Kano to PDP, the consequences cannot be
it almost happened that last time.
Yes, in 2019 it almost happened.
I know they are still winning. They are still winning Kwankwaso. Maybe Kwankwaso will end up in that party. But the problem for him is that despite the problems that he's facing in the PDP, there are many of his enemies also in the APC. So he's confused. No, if you have Shekarau there,
you have Ganduje there.
So where do you go? Except they push those individuals out for you. So he too has to think of that, because the way he and Shekarau can't be in the same party. The same way
Kwankwaso and Shekarau.
Yes, they can't be in the same party. The same way that Magatakada Wamako in Sokoto cannot be in the same party with Atahiru Bafarawa. Some things are very predictable in our politics. Once somebody moves to that party, I can tell you one person will leave the party for him. It happened in Sokoto, and he left.
But Shekarau won't leave APC for Kwankwaso.
No, Shekarau is in position of strength now.
Yeah, that is it. So he won't leave.
No, but this you never can tell. The two of them can't be in the same party. One will probably leave for the other.
Emeka Madunagu, thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very
Jide,
much.
it's getting so interesting. And
It is.
2022 is going to be very interesting.
And politicians need to tell themselves the truth. This template that they've come up with has not achieved the reconciliation, because if they can come up with this kind of statement, I read it like 5 times, then the reconciliation has not happened.
Okay, and that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and don't forget to join us on Journalist Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. God bless Nigeria.